They are the divine and detailed work of masters. Through their artistry, sculptures tell the story of Christianity. But after years of public display, some crumbled, and one fell into the hands of another artist, Lou McClung.
Because of the condition of it, I didn't enjoy it very much, so I started working on it. And then after the first statue, I enjoyed it so much that I just started doing it as a hobby.
He found many statues in need of restoration in the closed Catholic churches of Greater Cleveland, and McClung needed more room. He found it in the closed St. Hedwig's Church in Lakewood. He bought it and turned it into a museum.
This is great. The history of the parish is still over here, so it's nice.
And the museum isn't just for those of the Catholic faith, or even Christians for that matter, but for those who appreciate fine art, its restoration, and exquisite architecture.
I've restored about 15 in the collection so far, but we have about 60 statues, so I have a lot of work ahead of me.
Pieces like this window, commissioned for the Sacred Heart Church, which closed in Slavic Village, are on display in the museum.
It really is fabulous looking here, and I think it's got a proper home now.
To many, it's a place to find pieces of their former parish, but to those who went to St. Hedwig, it is so much more.
If it had to be used for another purpose, this was perfect, just perfect. It's like what he wanted.
Beautiful, just I cannot even have words for it, you know. I think it's just great.
In Lakewood's Birdtown neighborhood, Bill Saffos, 19 Action News.
Just spent a couple minutes on Cleveland's public square. And it's clear how important the RTA is to our area, which is why, with big red X's, the RTA and its union are making it clear how much jeopardy they believe the system is in, with Congress considering cuts with what's known as the Transportation Authorization Bill.
That cut would mean roughly $15 to $18 million per year for the next 6 years in cut to our funding. That would mean layoffs, service cuts. We won't be able to replace our buses and trains and infrastructure.
And the number of buses getting the X, a whopping 30% of the fleet, exactly representative of how many buses could disappear if the proposal passes.
I don't know the reasoning behind it, but nothing that they could possibly say would sound right to me.
Most riders we talked to had no idea about this, but do know darn well how tough it is every time RTA makes even the smallest cut from those who need the bus to get to work.
I take 2 buses to work and 2 buses home at night, and it would be horrible to have them cut.
To the mom who depends on the service to get her sick baby to the hospital regularly.
How would I be able to get around? That's just sad. That's a shame.
The Red X doing exactly what it's hoped it would, raising awareness that big RTA cuts are a big possibility, awareness that anyone who cares can do something about it. Speak up.
At Rittman Orchards in Doylestown, they are keeping a close eye on tonight's freeze. You see each one of these buds? They're beautiful, but they came early, and there is an awful lot at stake here if that thermometer dips like it's supposed to.
It's historic. We've never seen this before in this part of the country.
Matt Vodraska watched a record warm March worried as the buds popped out earlier than usual at his orchard.
Every single flower you see here is a potential fruit for the summer.
And there are thousands of trees here, peach, apple, cherry, plums, standing vulnerable to an expected overnight freeze.
A few degrees is a world. It's the difference between having a full crop and coming up half empty.
Local produce is in big demand now for individual diets and at more and more restaurants.
Oh, we have over 16 orchards that are really nervous tonight. This is the night that could make or break their summer.
We're looking at, how good of a season's going to be right now, tonight.
And literally there's not a darn thing you can do.
No, just sit and pray.
And so to all those people who were so glad it was warm in March, you say what?
Be careful what you wish for.
Dave Edwards drove in from Fairport Harbor just to check out this view in Paynesville. He wanted to see how frozen the Grand River was. Good thing he came now because this snow and ice won't be here for very long.
Up and down, that's not normal for the winter.
Temperatures expected to hit close to 60 by midweek. Those living along the river already getting prepared.
We have had a call this morning for a sump pump, and everybody I think is concerned about that.
What's on the ground right now that you see amounts to about 1 inch of water. Now combine that with the 2 inches of rain that's predicted for the next couple of days, and you're going to have some serious flooding concerns, especially here along the river.
I got my home, I got a basement, and there'll be a lot of flooding, so yeah, it's worry a little bit.
And you don't have a sump pump.
No, I don't have no sub pump, so I just pray to God, He be with us.
Flooding is something the people in this area know all too well. This vacant piece of land with a scenic view of the river used to be filled with townhomes. Every one of them gone now, demolished because they were destroyed by a flood. Nothing near that predicted now, but just enough to keep everyone on guard.
You're going to see a little flooding. I don't think nothing to get excited about, but there'll probably be a little bit. Nothing we're not used to.
When the water does rise, they'll be ready. In Paynesville, Denise Zarella, 19 Action News.